if I'm being honest, I think I would be more of the geeky, nerdy, awkward protagonist more than I would be Mr. Popular Jock. I know what I look like, but I mean, essentially, I think that's who I am more than anything. When I watch like movies and stuff, I identify mostly with the nerd characters than I do with the jock of the story. Yeah, that's pretty much who I was in high school. It's kind of what I am now. I'm not good at picking up when girls are into me. So, kind of the reason why I didn't hook up until like I almost was out of high school or about to graduate. Yeah, those are lies. The people say that everybody hooks up in high school. Not everybody. Not everybody. Roll the intro. Welcome to Netflix Review with your host, B Shack, aka Damn. And today, we're discussing Everything Sucks, streaming now on Netflix. Now, essentially, when I first read the bio of this movie, which just basically states it's a 1990s film or it's taking place in the era of 1990s in an Oregon AV club, I immediately was kind of interested because, I mean, as a baby, not an 80s baby, I like to think of myself as a 90s baby because I was born in the 80s, but kind of grew up more in the 90s. So I remember more of the 90s than I do with the 80s. So I remember a lot of things in the 90s, and it's always this nostalgia. And I don't romanticize it. I do understand that like, it was a lot of flaws in the 90s, but I do still, when you hear the music of the 90s, see the fashion styles, it just kind of like connects you to your youth. And so like I was excited to see it. I love period pieces that are within my period of era. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll watch it. AV Club, gotta be nerds. Bet, I'm gonna watch this. So I went into it with kind of a high hopes for it. I won't say the film let me down or the series let me down. I feel like it was, at some point you have to step back from it. It is basically about teenagers, and as teenagers go, as you begin to become an adult, you look back at your teenage years and think, holy snap, I was a whiny little dickhead. And watching that, I felt like a lot of times, these kids are really whiny. But at that point of life, teenagers don't understand that their life is more encompassing. At that moment, this moment matters to them. And sometimes as an adult, you forget that, and you watch and I'm thinking, okay, Luke is a dick at this point. It's annoying. Then you have to step back and say, okay, at this point, he thinks that this is his world. He doesn't understand the world is bigger than this, and this period of his life is a small, tiny piece of it. So I got it. I had to step back a couple times from it, but it just sometimes the characters got annoying. And I think that's the only flaw. I think that overall the story is good. It's interesting. It's predictable. It's not something that you're going to be like, oh, this is some massive revelation of a storyline. Even the cliffhanger story ending, series ending, is very predictable. I kind of saw it coming by the episode 2 when he first finds the tapes of his father that left him. I kind of saw where it was going, especially by episode 8 when he goes and sees his father in LA. I'm like this, okay, I see where this is going. I was off on where I thought the father would come back. If you haven't seen it, I do apologize. Spoiler alert. I was off by where I thought the father would come back. I thought the father would come back when he introduced the film and get to see his son doing it, and then it would turn into like a cliffhanger at that point where the credits would start. But it was I was a little bit off on the timing of it. The kid who played Tyler was my favorite character. He was neurotic. He was funny. He was this weird brand of funny, but he was still like a teenager trying to find himself. I like Luke. I just felt like a lot of times as a character, Luke let his angst and his, I guess, teenage feelings allow him to be a dick to other people. And I was like, kind of getting whack. I don't like that. I like Kate. I had to step back from her too to really appreciate her character, because I was like, I felt kind of bad because it seemed like she was leading Luke on. When she realized that who she was as a character or who she was as a person. But a lot of that was Luke's own doing, and you understand that as an adult. Some people don't have that now. Like, you just don't understand, pick up on like the social cues. Teenagers are bad with it. Picking up social cues, picking up just the person's vibe towards you. And adults don't have that. So I had to like kind of, again, a lot of times with that movie, with the show, I had to like step back and say, be honest about these characters and let them develop. Not everybody's going to be me or think the same way I think, so I have to look at it as more of an objectively. I like to measure things on like a few scales. Like, it has no replay value. I feel like Stranger Things has a replay value. A lot of the greater series of shows you can replay again and still enjoy them. I'm not really like excited to replay it. I watched it twice just so I had a great feel of it, but it wasn't really like I was like enthralled with it. The other part of something, when I measure my enjoyment of something, how excited am I for the second season of it, I will say that it did a good job of creating characters that were dynamic enough for me to anticipate to see where their character arc is going. Sometimes people can have characters that are so one-dimensional that you're sometimes not really interested in where they're going as a character arc, where I felt like I want to see where Luke is going. I want to see the interaction now of how this dynamic of his father returning. I want to see this dynamic between Kate and Olivia, I think. I want to see Tyler keep growing as a character. I want to see McQuaid. How does he interact now with his fame? I wish they did more with Cedric. As soon as Cedric came with the blonde hair, with the kind of like the Demolition Man, Wesley Snipes version blonde hair, I was interested. I was like, hey man, they got to put Cedric in here more. He's a good character. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not groundbreaking, but I do think it's interesting enough to have a view, especially if you're a 90s baby, 80s baby, and grew up in the 90s. The music, I wasn't really a Tori Amos fan. It wasn't a lot of hip-hop. Was some hip-hop in there, so I appreciated it. I did find the name of the city funny. I had to go make sure that was a real place. Boring, Oregon. I wouldn't want to live in a place called Boring, but to each his own. So if you saw the series, what are your thoughts? Feel free to comment down below. As always, you can subscribe to the channel. I do Netflix review, movie reviews, music reviews, little gaming. As always, you can always follow me on all my social media. That's DAMNlookatHIM across the board. DAMNlookatHIM Twitter. DAMNlookatHIM Snapchat. DAMNlookatHIM Instagram. And Facebook is DAMNlookatHIM TV. Twitch is also DAMNlookatHIM. Might do a little Twitch here and there. Feel free to subscribe and follow me on all my accounts. Interact with me. I'm out here for you guys. And as always, be kind to one another and be easy. Peace. Happy Netflixing. When they said that Luke's father was named Leroy, and then he showed the first video of his father talking, he didn't look like Leroy to me. In fact, he didn't look like somebody who fathered Luke at all with the black mother. And if you've watched the series, you'll say, yeah, I can see that. So somebody got to explain that to me, because I'm still looking at that confused on how Luke, Leroy, and Sherry all fit together. Because I'm looking at a square hole and two pieces that don't look like they're going to fit in that square hole. I'm looking at a square and a triangle, and somehow the square fits, but that triangle don't look like it's fitting in there at all. I'm confused. I'm confused, really.